Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Partly sunny the rest of the day with a wind at 11 miles per hour coming out of the southwest and 79. Tonight, look for a mixture of some clouds and slight fog with a temperature near 69. Tomorrow, a high around 79 and slightly foggy in the morning, followed by some sun. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Here at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, we want to help you celebrate Mom this month. From mother's rings with her children's birthstones to unique one-of-a-kind pieces just like her. This month is meant to celebrate Mom. From our large selection of beautiful stackable bands to simple, elegant diamond necklaces that will bring a sparkle to her eye. This Mother's Day, show Mom how much you love her with a beautiful piece of jewelry that's as unique as she is. From Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat donut. For a limited time, enjoy the Kit Kat Donut Collection at Krispy Kreme Donuts. Choose from the Kit Kat Salted Caramel Brownie or the Kit Kat Cookie Dream. And break off a piece of that Kit Kat Crunch Donut. So give yourself a break with the Kit Kat Donut Collection only at Krispy Kreme Donuts. Next to Gulf Coast Hospital, 23rd Street, Panama City, and the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan.
Hi, I'm Bobby Likas with today's Car Clinic Minute. The old adage goes, you can't judge a book by its cover. But with repair shops, I beg to differ. There are ways to identify a professional service center and a little shop of horrors. When I come back, I'll tell you. On Valentine's Day, love might be blind, but at service shops, keep your eyes wide open. First, do some recon. Contact the Better Business Bureau and ask friends for report cards on shops they use. Then, call prospective shops. Are people responsive? If they don't have time for you now, imagine when there's a problem. Also, pay shops a visit. Look for a well-maintained organization and look out for a dirty, cluttered environment. Yes, to avoid heartbreak at repair time, initially judge service centers like other professionals by reputation, responsiveness, and self-respect. I'm Bobby Likas. Likas, you'll love us.
Hey, is that a faucet running?
Nope, that's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest.
It is?
Yeah, forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink. The water comes straight from the forest to us. In fact...
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
How do trees clean the air?
They soak up the dirty air on their leaves, branches, and trunks, which means clean air for us.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yep, but the forest does more than give us clean air and water. It gives us shade for hot days, birds to listen to, and trees to climb.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know how cool the forest could be. Hey, let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Get ready.
Let's play the game.
Sports Talk Radio will never be the same.
I just don't think that anybody's going to succeed in that system.
It's a bad organization.
It's just a bad organization.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Onion pickles, onions pickles.
Live and local.
Look, it's impressive.
On ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
What's going on, Northwest Florida? You are now tuned into the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 here in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes along with AG, that's Adam Goff, and Caveman Rick with us on the ones and the twos. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful afternoon out there today. Beautiful weather out there. A little hot, but I don't even think we could consider it hot, right?
No, it's not bad at all.
Nah, not bad at all, AG says, and I'm right there in agreement with him. It's you could feel that humidity though.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's
but,
on its way.
It's t-shirt and short weather, right?
Yeah, there you go. What'd you end up getting into yesterday?
The wife and I went and rode some bikes over off of 70, close over to 79.
Yeah. Preservation Park.
Gales Trails, I think is
Gales
what they
Trails
call it.
Preservation Park.
Preservation Park, really, really cool area. So if you've not been back there, anybody's not been back there, it's free to go to. They've got little maps and stuff and, creatures and critters to look out for. And, don't go near, if you will. But beautiful area, very quiet, very peaceful. There's probably maybe 15 people we saw total. Either coming in or leaving when we were, but there's so many different trails out through there. I think the largest trail is 11 miles.
Yeah, it's like the one that goes all the way around.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of land out there. It's nice.
I haven't done the full loop around the 11 miles, but I've done some where I'm like, oh man, did I pick the right trail right here? But yeah, it's a cool place. I remember the first time I was ever out there, we encountered a big rattlesnake out there, and then the last time that I went with Chipper, which is my brother's dog, there was another rattlesnake right there on the left of the trail, and I didn't notice it till we were getting pretty close to it. Look over there, I'm like, oh man, and he's rattling at that point when we got close to him, and the dog started darting after him. Luckily, I had him on the leash, because a lot of the times I get out there and I don't see people. It's like, go on, brother, do your thing today. Right. Well, I'm glad that right there at that point in time, it wasn't like that, because that could have been a mess, especially, I mean, if you've got someone else's dog and they end up getting bit by a rattlesnake, of course, that's, not your fault. But it is one of those things where
you're responsible
at that point in time, and ain't nobody want to see any type of puppy getting injured by a rattlesnake or any type of snake for that matter. And you said you saw a few baby gators. What area of the park did you see the baby gators at?
I don't know the name of the trail, but it was the blue trail that goes up.
The blue trail works, bro.
So if you get out there's a little blue trail that goes up there, and there's like a little kind of canal, I guess if you will, that runs parallel to that trail. And so it was right off in there. It was like 10 or so little baby gators, and it was pretty cool.
There you go. Well, glad you had a great time out there. And for all of our listeners out there, y'all go check out Gales Trails, man. I mean, bikes, walking, it's got it all out there for you. It's a great place, and one of my favorite things that you mentioned there was that it is free. I also want to remind you guys about the Rainforest Blacklight Golf and Arcade. They're having their first annual Blacklight Putt-Putt Golf Tournament. You can sign up today. It's presented by Epic Realty. You can call Summer or Allison. Summer's number is 404-789-7858. Allison's number is 850-630-2737. That's going to be May 2nd, so it's coming up tomorrow. 5 p.m. is when registration opens, and they will be golfing at 6 p.m., and this is to benefit the Bay County Council of Aging. So this is, Leanne sent this over to me. I think they're involved with this. So yeah, let's help out the Bay County Council of Aging over there at the Rainforest Blacklight Golf and Arcade. I'm not even entirely sure where that's at.
Front Beach Road, you know where Joan Ave is, Front Beach? There's that hotel right there. It's directly behind the hotel.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So cool. How many I forget who I was talking about with this, but how many putt-putt courses do we have here in Panama City? I know that obviously I'm not looking for
like 6 or 7.
Just off the top of my head, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
At least
maybe
6.
I was going to say at least 6.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
Yeah, I was with the addition of Rainforest right there. So you got Pirates Island, you got Goofy Golf, you've got Rainforest. That's the first 3 that I'm seeing on the maps. You got Coconut Creek, Hidden Lagoon,
the one at Emerald Falls.
Emerald Falls. So that looks like that's it right there. So that would be 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
6 makes sense.
All right, man. We really need a putt-putt tour right here in Panama City Beach, man.
I'll be down.
Right. That would be awesome. I also want to look into putting together a little fundraiser benefit for my cousin who's fighting cancer. Just found out about his cancer that he's got. I think they just got back from Shands today. I want to do a golden tea fundraiser for him.
Okay.
But how tough would that be, though? Because you would have to talk to all the bar owners, like, hey, how many golden tees can we get into one building? But we'll see what the future holds there. The Braves did lose last night. That is their first time this year that they've lost back-to-back games. It was a 3-2 loss to the Mariners. Luis Castillo, I'm sure that this doesn't bother you, even though you guys could use a little starting pitching right now, the Cincinnati Reds.
Actually, our pitching has been very, very good.
Okay.
It's just the lineup is kind of piecing together right now with all the injuries and whatnot. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Luis Castillo's, what you got?
I was going to say, you guys got the win last night, but how about this? My Philadelphia Phillies, first to 20 wins.
Mm-hmm.
We're still behind you guys by a dang game, though. In the standings, though, even though because you guys got head-to-head wins over us.
Oh, okay, all right.
You guys got 19.
So it's probably
20.
A half game then?
Yeah. Well, you guys.
It is a half game. Yeah, because the Braves are 19-9. Philadelphia Phillies are 20-11. Braves losing 3-2, but they're up 5-0. Luis Castillo though last night. I mean, another pitching duel last night is what it was. Reynaldo Lopez, even though he gave up the 3 runs, ended up having a decent outing. We haven't seen him go past 6 innings yet, but Luis Castillo, 7 shutout innings, retiring the final 11 batters that he faced, 7 strikeouts, and now he's won 3 games in a row. Mariners starting pitchers have allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in a franchise record 18 consecutive game. That's the first team in Major League Baseball history to post an ERA of 1.60 or lower and have 160-plus strikeouts in an 18-game span. 160-plus strikeouts, that seems ridiculous.
It's like
in
18
games.
It's like 8.5 a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the starters, not just the pitching staff.
Yeah,
right?
that's just for the starters.
And that means you got to get some innings out of those starters. They need to be out there probably for a while.
Yeah, they're getting, last night you got 7 out of them. What'd they have the night before out of, I believe it was Bryce Miller. I think they got
6 no hits, right?
Yeah, 6 no hits. Yeah, and so I believe he ended up going 7 innings. But the Braves are up 5-0 as it stands right now. They are in the bottom of the 5th. Julio Rodriguez is up. Good for them to jump out to an early start. So that streak is done there for the Seattle Mariners then. At that point, who's on the bump for the Mariners this afternoon? I have to check that out real quick. Because I'm just hoping that it's not Logan Gilbert, and that would just be for fantasy. It looks like it was Hancock Emerson Hancock. He went 3.2, gave up 5 hits, 1 run, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts to go along with that. And going for the Bravos this afternoon was Chris Sale, who's gone 4 innings, 5 hits, giving up no runs and 7 strikeouts to go along with that. He is striking batters out at a high rate. So maybe hopefully the Braves can hold on to that 5-0 lead right there and end up with a win. What are your Reds doing today?
Right now they're up 1-0. I believe it's in the 4th inning against the Padres. If they win today, then they take 2 out of 3.
There you go. And we'll check out what other scores are going on live across Major League Baseball. The Brewers took care of the Rays today, 7-1. The Royals are leading the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 8th at 6-1. The Athletics having a very surprising season. I mean, the Pirates were one of the hottest teams in baseball when we first got started. Now the Athletics and the Pirates have the same record in the series that they're playing against each other. A's leading 3-0, both teams with a record of 14-17. Phillies on top of the Angels 2-1 right now, and as Caveman Rick mentioned, they are only a half game behind the Atlanta Braves, which is not a great sign for the regular season. There's really
early.
It's way early, but what I'm getting at is, the last 2 years essentially. No, really just last year, the Braves shot out to a great lead in the regular season and kind of just held on to that all year long. And then the Philadelphia Phillies in the playoffs take care of business. And so I'm more or less just being facetious. 1 month in, we've got a lot of baseball to play, and there's a lot of questions still to be answered for the Braves rotation, I believe, as well.
My biggest question for the season is like right now you look at batting averages across the league and they're down. Last year the league batting average was 248, which everyone balked at, unintended. Holy cow, that's really low. This year it's down to 240.
That's 8 points.
And
I think a lot of youth
typically
that's brought up has maybe got something to do with it.
I think there's a lot of good pitching that's out there too. But you would think with the lack of shift that those numbers would rise a little bit, and we're not seeing that. So it's a little bit weird, but I don't see that 240 going up, honestly. And you're seeing across the board, outside of maybe Gunnar and Shohei and, players of that ilk, but, having successful seasons. But, you've got guys like Corbin Carroll that are struggling. Ronald Acuna is struggling right now. So there's a lot of big-time names right now that aren't holding up their end of the bargain. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. Like you mentioned, the Brewers earlier just winning 7-1. They've been on an absolute roll.
They've been fighting.
April. Literally, yeah. They've been on an absolute roll, but I'm curious to see if that can be sustained.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they could just throw in some Goldilocks balls in there and then, change the narrative if they need to. 8 points down. I don't know if if I'm on the side of, are they trying to hit too many home runs? Is it still the launch angle, all of that good stuff? Or is pitching just gotten that much better? Because what's one of the narratives when it comes to pitching? No one can stay healthy, I think I'm gonna stick to the side of it's about them trying to hit home runs more so than it is the pitching, which isn't a good sign for Major League Baseball, though, especially for the youth. What side of the fence would you be on there, Caveman Rick?
I don't know. It's kind of a tough one for me. Like I did mention, you got the youth. We also, the seasons, kind of starting out a little sooner now. You got the colder weather. I think that might have something to do with it too, with the numbers early on in the season. So I just think it's a whole bunch of things. I don't think you can really pinpoint it just down to one thing only.
Yeah, Callaway Steve says, talk about Bally Sports.
I mean, we've seen it for the last 2 years now. They're a bankrupt company, and they're being strung along by Major League Baseball and these teams, and propped up and trying to keep them above board, and it's just not happening.
I think they were spread too thin, Valley Sports. I think that was part of their problem, man. Like, way too many networks, way too much stuff going on.
Well, the biggest issue that I have with Major League Baseball and its television broadcast rights is the fact that if the Reds come down here to Miami or Tampa, I can't watch them.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago, the Reds were playing the Los Angeles Angels, but it was back in Cincinnati, but it was still blacked out for me on my Amazon service.
In Las Vegas,
Yes.
Los Angeles games were blacked out for you?
100%. 100%. And it just makes no sense.
Yeah, the blackout thing, I've never understood that. Even as a kid, a game would be blacked out, and you're like, what the heck? And that was back in the day before you could just stream anything that you wanted. I'm sure that there were people who were streaming what they wanted, but I mean, the answer to this question, Callaway Steve, is in all reality is to go get KHS TV, is to go to ESPNPC.com, click on KHS TV, and then there you have it. There's your remedy for all of this that's going on. I think I woke up today. Xfinity is one of the packages now that if you had Bally on Xfinity, that's not a truth any longer, so you won't be getting any Braves games there. There is the other thing that I hate about it, not the KHS TV side of things, but even if you were to go get the MLB package, if you were to get the baseball package and you're watching your team play, if you're a Braves fan and they're playing the Marlins or they're playing the Rays, you're not able to watch it. So then you've got to go outsource a way to find a way to watch the baseball game, and that stuff kind of stinks. I mean, you talk about the Peacock games, you go to the NFL and you look at the Peacock game for the playoffs. They're going to have a special service, I believe, to watch the I'm not sure on this, I might be making this up, but I believe the Brazil game is going to be streamed, the Eagles and I forget who, maybe the Packers, I think.
Yeah, I think that game I was heard about being potentially done something like that, which I think is just retarded, like just dumb.
Yeah, they continue to find ways to stream on different services, and they with the NFL they're going to continue to find out that people are going to sign up for that streaming package, and then what does that happen? Even if you sign up for that trial right there and you forget to cancel your trial, now Peacock or whoever it is making money off of you, and you're not even enjoying the content, and it's for what? Like if I'm signing up for Peacock, right? I'm watching maybe a baseball game every now and again, and then I believe that Peacock might have the Kentucky Derby as well. Mm-hmm. So I'll watch a few of the horse races throughout the year, and that's a lie right there, because I can't sit there and say that I'll watch a few of the horse races. No, because I'm only going to watch the Kentucky Derby, the Belmont, and the other things are things that I might, Preakness, right? I might find out who won the race.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't
obviously if there's a Triple Crown possibility, then
and that changes
it's a little more intriguing, obviously.
Right. And horse racing is intriguing to me. It's just one of those things that on Friday, I find out Belmont's going on. By Saturday, I've forgotten. Yep. You know what I mean? Because there's so many other sports things, and that's one of the beauties, one of the beautiful things, and one of the ugly things about where we're at in streaming these days. Because back in the day, it was cable, and then whatever, DVDs. Essentially, after that, now you've got some people have their cable package still, but if you want to stream, you can go and you can get your different TV shows and whatnot on Netflix and Amazon Prime, but you got to have so many. By the time that you've paid for all of those streaming services, you've paid for 4 months worth of cable at that point in time, and as a sports fan, we're hearing about these ones that are coming together that are going to have a few of the major networks all joining together. Guys, the answer is right here on ESPNPC.com. Go to KHS TV, and there you have it. You'll get all the baseball games. The only thing that you'll ever really have to do is refresh your stream, which is just basically hitting the back button on your Fire Stick remote and then going right back to it. It's definitely worth it. I don't remember what the price is. I think it's $40 a month.
Yeah, I've got it. I've used it. It's great service, great stuff. Everything David's telling you is 100% on point. Like if you like sports, you like just TV, movies, something to look into getting.
All right, yeah. So that's all I could really tell you about Bally Sports, because the whole thing is, it's on Bally for not running a great. I don't know if you can put it solely on Bally either, though, right?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, they weren't getting the viewership, you would think. I mean, like, the money's not there. So, I mean, if people aren't looking, you're not getting the revenue from advertising. So, you know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of, there's a correlation there.
I wonder if they made prices cheap. But then again, what we're talking about right here isn't even the streaming side of things of it, because for a lot of this is dealing with the cable packages. So Callaway Steve says that he's watching on Bally right now. I saw it on the Braves, their Facebook page, that I think it was Xfinity is no longer carrying the Bally games. Maybe that was just for a certain cable subscriber at that point in time. But yeah, I just blame Bally if you want to. All I know is that I really don't have a great answer for this. And I've read quite a bit of articles on this stuff, but I leave each time with like, maybe it's just because I'm dumb, but I just don't have a good grasp on what it is that's actually going on.
Right? Yeah. It's all money grab. But if you're the MLB, you want as many eyeballs on as many games as you can possibly get.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's no longer America's pastime. We all know that. They don't know that. Mm-hmm. They haven't figured that out yet. And blacking out games today is just the absolute opposite of what they should be doing. They should be putting every single game possible out there for everybody to watch. And they should be doing it all day long.
Especially with the star power that Major League Baseball has right now.
100%, right? And adapt it to your stars, right? So, why is it on a Monday night we have to wait until our time, 5:30 or 6:30, for a game to start? Mm-hmm. Why is there not a 1 o'clock game, a 2 o'clock game? Get people watching the game around the clock.
And I think that's easier to do with a sport like baseball compared to especially the NFL, because you're playing 17 games, 18-week season, and you've got your prime times there for the NFL. But for baseball, with having 162 games across 30 teams and their schedules at that point in time, I think that it would not be out of the question to have at least one, have a 1 o'clock game or a 12:30 game every day. Have basically like the NFL, have a 12:30, 3:30, and then have the rest being your night games. But then on the flip side of that is how much revenue Are they going to be losing revenue? Obviously not from the watching department, but more so from the attendance.
But the thing is, attendance is down across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few teams that still sell out every game. I don't know if the Braves are still selling out every game. I know they were last year. I know the Dodgers sell out every game. But they're typically one of those teams that they're not going to be on at 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon unless it's a Saturday, because it's 9 o'clock for them at that point, right? So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about trying to get as many eyes on it as possible, so that when you're watching that game, especially in the summertime, right, when your kids are home, it might be raining because so they can't go outside and play, right? Because it's Florida, and you're inside, you're watching a game on a Saturday with your kid or whatever. Then you say, "Hey, watch this." And then they want to go, and then you're able to go to games and get them more involved that way.
And now they're hooked.
Right, 100%. And it all happened to us, right? I mean, that's how we all became baseball
But
fans.
there was a difference, though, I think, right? There was a difference because we couldn't just go out and find whatever it is that we wanted, especially saying that we're 5, 6, or 7 years old. Like, there wasn't something that our parents put in our lap. If there was anything that was put in our laps that was talking back to us, it was that one thing where you'd, like, pull the string or whatever, and the thing spins in a circle, and it's like a cow says moo.
Or speak and spell from Texas Instruments.
There you go. Or maybe when I was like 10 or something, you had the leapfrog hooked on phonics thing, press a letter and it would say a word that started with that particular letter. But these days, just because a dad likes baseball, the kid could be sitting there on his iPad or sitting on the parent's iPad watching, kids play with toys rather than watching baseball with dad. And so they're not we were falling in love with what our parents were in love with, whereas these kids can, and that's no knock, that's just where we're at today in society, and so if kids aren't, especially if they're not playing sports, because that was another driving factor, right? Was, all right, you like watching sports because your dad's watching sports or your mom's watching sports, but then all of a sudden you're playing the sports and you want to emulate some of these guys, or you want to watch how the best in the world at the thing that it is that you're trying to do. And I don't know how prevalent that is these days either. Like, our kids who are playing athletics going back and watch, like, do they even watch the professional or collegiate athletes of their times?
Back in the day too, and I'm sure Adam can attest to this, man, like, especially when summertime, we were out of school and whatever. I mean, our parents were telling us, like, it's nice outside, like, get the hell out. Don't come back in until we call you, and, like, made you go outside, and, like, if there was nothing to play or anything, you figured stuff out. You made up games. You know what I'm saying? You found stuff to do. Nowadays, it's all sitting on your rear end and, like, looking at a screen or twiddling with your thumbs,
Yeah, but they could also get on those iPads and start streaming those games away. You guys are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. We're taking your calls or text 850-215-6290. Kyle Albritton is going to lead us off with a question in our next segment. Who had a Furby? I'm just kidding. I didn't have a Furby. You guys have a Furby? No, we're taking a break. We'll be right back. This is ESPN Northwest Florida.
America's team plays here.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. That's number 10.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Charlie Morton, Max Fried, and Chris Sale lead the Braves' dominant pitching rotation.
That's 18 up, 18 down.
Sponsored by Panama City Toyota, LS Agency Insurance, Bestway Portable Buildings, PCB Hobby, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
Got him swinging. Strike 3.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Partly sunny the rest of the day with a wind at 11 miles per hour coming out of the southwest and 79. Tonight, look for a mixture of some clouds and slight fog with a temperature near 69. Tomorrow, a high around 79 and slightly foggy in the morning, followed by some sun. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
The road is yours, so let your spring adventures begin and discover the new Kia at Bill Bird Kia. Stop by today and check out our 2024 SUV family and take a test drive. See all the new features that elevate any adventure. Now offering 4.75% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento EX. You'll get and rugged good look with luxury and the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia, the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by anytime and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll give you the peace of mind that you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento EX with $2,294 per month per 1,000 finance in 48 months. Quality is limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is the Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 4/30/24.
You want a big-time sports show? Tune in for the Afternoon Underdogs.
We're live and local here.
Weekdays from 4 till 6.
We need one more SEC team in there to shake things up.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs here in the Doghouse. Tuned into ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for the Atlanta Braves for 7 years. ESPN Northwest Florida has been your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. And thanks to our loyal Braves fans for making this possible. To show our gratitude, we're going to be sending more listeners to Atlanta to see the Braves than ever before. So keep listening for details on how to win tickets to Truist from your home for the Atlanta Braves, ESPN Northwest Florida. That's brought to you by Brock's Pest Control, Store More Portable Buildings, Bill Bird Kia, Mid-South Lumber, and PCB Hobby. We're going to go over to the phone line, and I guess we'll keep talking some Valley sports here. Callaway Steve, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, I'm good, brother. You doing all right?
I'm doing wonderful today, man. Beautiful day for baseball. Beautiful day to be alive.
Yeah, it is. So, a couple of weeks ago, I was whining to you in a message about the Braves not being able to see them when they play the Marlins.
Yeah.
And I figured it out. It's because every time the Braves were playing the Marlins, the Lightning or the Panthers or the Heat or the Magic were playing, and the Rays were playing also. So they would show the Rays on one Valley Sports channel in Florida, and then they would show the basketball or the hockey game on the other channel, and the Marlins were at the bottom of the food pyramid.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
It makes sense, but it stinks too because we're not talking about, Division II college or something like that where it's harder to find. We're talking about professional franchises and sports that people love to watch. And when you're expecting, I'll put it to you guys like this, right? As the person who does like the live programming directing around here, right? And we run Auburn games, and then sometimes it'll be like, well, do we want to run Ohio State and Oregon right here? Do we want to run Auburn versus Missouri Valley State Central? You know what I mean? And it's like, well, from my standpoint, I'm not an Auburn fan, so I think the better game here would be Ohio State, Oregon. But then, you run that Ohio State, Oregon game, and then you've got Auburn fans texting in saying, well, man, I had nowhere else to go and listen to that game. I really wish that I was listening to Auburn right now. So you run into those situations all the time, and we're just talking about, radio, not necessarily people trying to watch the diehards who are trying to watch 162 Marlins games where they lose 112 times that year. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's
exactly.
odd.
I mean, people that pay money for like MLB extra innings, and then they say blackout rules apply. So then I tune in to my local sports network to watch it, and they say, "Oh, that's not available."
And then
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then you're scrambling to try to find a way to listen to it or try to find a way to watch it at that point. And if you're trying to do it through the streaming mechanism, then you might run into a lot of buffering at that point. You're going to be behind, no matter what it is. If you're streaming, you are going to be behind. So I would recommend for all streamers out there, if you watch your team on a regular basis, go ahead and turn your notifications off or mute them or figure out something, unless you don't mind, the endings being ruined for you, which I've kind of just become accustomed to it. Like, well, all right, the Lightning lost here. Let's find out how they lost.
That was one good thing about watching games 25 years ago or pre-recording them sometimes. They didn't have to worry about all those notifications and alerts.
Yeah.
Well, a perfect example is Bengals beating the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And here I am. I'm waiting on the kick. and my phone is absolutely blowing up because I'm watching it on a streaming service that is typically like 5 to 6 seconds behind.
Yeah.
So it kind of took a little bit of the joy away. Not all of it because we went to the Super Bowl, but it's still just one of those things where it was kind of anticlimactic because it was like, well, I know it's good because I just got 17 text messages.
Or it could be really, really bad at that point. I mean, it takes us back to the draft, right? Because we're sitting there watching the draft over there at St. Andy's, and our buddy Barrett kept on posting in our group the picks, and AG is over here getting frustrated. He's like, I'm going to go tell Barrett to stop doing that right now. And I think you asked him to do that, and did he keep on sending in the drafts at that point, or sending in the picks?
No, but it's just a point. It's like, come on, man. Let's be fair and reasonable to everybody that's out there because not everybody has the ability to sit there and watch that in real time.
But you should have hit up everyone on Twitter and been like, hey, hold on, guys. We're watching this, and I'm not checking Twitter until after the draft.
Honestly, though, Twitter was actually behind our TV cast. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, you guys know Barrett, too. That's his thing. He wants to be, like, out in front. We call him Barrett Schefter.
Barrett Schefter.
You know, he's always wanting to break the news. So, I mean, that's just, it's in his DNA.
So, go ahead, Callaway Steve.
Here's the other thing about the streaming services. MLB is always going to find a way to institute their blackout rules no matter what your streaming service is.
Why do you say that?
They're gonna determine your location, and MLB blackout regions are different from the NFL because if you're in the state of Florida, I can move to Dothan and watch the Braves every night for free. But because I'm in the state of Florida, even though Tampa and Miami are farther away, I either got to watch it on their network or I'm not going to watch it.
But blackouts in football are different because it's based off if the game's not sold out, it's blacked out.
Well, and that's my point.
And they do that just purposefully to sell tickets to make sure the games are sold out.
Yes. And if I want to watch the Dolphins, okay, if they're not sold out, or even if they are sold out, I might end up getting the Titans as my AFC game. No offense, Dave, because I know you're a Titans fan.
Or the Jaguars. The Jaguars come on here a lot as well.
Nashville is closer than Miami. I'm going to get the Titans game.
Wow.
And I'm not even going to mention the Jaguars because nobody cares.
You know, that's always kind of been interesting to me is we used to have it to where it's like, all right, Fox, we know is going to be an NFC-based game, and CBS is going to be an AFC-based game. So, but it's always kind of confused me around here because down in St. Pete, we knew what it was. It was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Fox, and it was the Miami Dolphins on CBS. Up here, you never know, are you going to get a Jaguars game? Are you going to get a Dolphins game? Is it going to be the Steelers and the Patriots for some reason? I think, and then again, you also had that same complexity, if you will, with the Bucks and with the Falcons. I mean, I mean the Bucks, Falcons, and the Saints as well.
Oh, that's a good point. The Falcons and the Saints. I didn't even think about them.
It's always
compared to the Bucks.
A better matchup. Whoever's got the better game or more meaningful game, that's the one they're going to play.
Yeah,
I think you should get to choose. Like, so if you're on a streaming service that does have your local channels and you don't subscribe to the ticket, you should be able to choose which game you would like to watch.
Yeah.
Right? As far as the NFL goes.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're here and they say, okay, well, we've got three choices. We got the Bucks, we got the Saints, and we've got the Falcons. You choose which one of the three you want to watch. We're going to have them going.
There is
you
an
pick
option.
it.
There is an option. You do like I did last season and pay an ungodly amount for YouTube TV just to get.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying not doing the ticket, right? So if you don't do the Sunday ticket, there should still be an option for us to be able to pick and choose within reason.
Like you'll have these games. These games are what's going to be in your region, and you can choose one per channel. Because normally, in the 12 o'clock window, you're going to have a game on Fox, and you're going to have a game on CBS, and then you're going to get the game of the week on either CBS or Fox. So you've got 4 games that you could choose from in the early slot. That's going to be on the Fox channel, and then you've got 4 games you could choose from on the CBS channel. I like that. I mean, I would love it if, you could just choose one game. Like, you know what I mean? If you could,
no matter where, no matter the region.
I think that would be an impossibility. I think that would be an impossibility. But yeah, like where no matter where you're at is like, if this is the game that you want to watch, you can watch that. I think that even if they did that for 1 or 2 years, that would be an interesting study there for the NFL.
Well, and being from Louisville, I dealt with this back in the day as well, right? Where, we didn't have an NFL team, but we had the Colts right up the road an hour and a half away, and we had the Bengals, which were my team, which were an hour and a half the other way, right? So, it never failed that we had to typically watch the Colts over the Bengals. Of course, it was Peyton Manning versus whatever else we were putting on the field.
Whatever it was, the Red Rifle.
But I would still like to watch the Bengals, right? But nowadays, it's the Bengals, the Colts, and the Ravens, right? Because the Lamar factor.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of people that are wanting to watch Lamar. So then there's a conundrum there, which, again, leads me to believe that there should still be a way to just make that buffet style, right? Like, here it is, lay it out in front of you. Here's your three or four choices, whatever it is, you pick. And then
once you make that choice, it's locked in at that point.
And think about this, right? So the NFL then has an opportunity, right? Because they can see, let's see, this percentage of TVs in this market chose to watch X game. This percentage chose to watch Y game. And then it can kind of give them a better idea of who's watching which game and when and why. So I think it's a better marketing tool.
Yeah, there you go.
I agree totally.
Do VPNs?
Hey, one more thing.
Go ahead, Callaway Steve.
One more thing, and then I'm going to shut up. Okay, I'm watching the Braves game live right now, like I do every night unless they're playing the Marlins. And there is no Bally Sports logo on the screen like there usually is.
So that's starting to become
I don't know
official.
who has, in an emergency, taken over, but games are still being broadcast on MLB Extra Innings.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I noticed was when I clicked, I'm a cable customer, so when I clicked on Valley Sports Florida, I got a pink screen with a message, and the same thing when I clicked on Valley Sports Sun. So I'm not sure what's going on, but ball games are still happening just without the Valley Sports logo.
Yeah, what does the logo look like on your end? Because I'm watching a stream here, and I believe it's the Seattle Mariners broadcast, and they've got a little R over there on the right side. So I don't know if the Mariners were
they're not a Bally.
Yeah, though. That's what I was about to say. I don't think, because not all of the MLB teams were with the Bally.
No, like the Dodgers have their own broadcast.
Yeah, the Dodgers are on LA Sportsnet.
Mm-hmm.
Yankees got Yes Network, stuff like that.
Yes, and the Red Sox have Nesson.
Philly's got NBCS in Philly.
Yeah. For the Braves broadcast that I'm watching, there is no logo whatsoever.
But it still looks just like how Bally did for the game last night?
Yeah. At the bottom of the screen, actually, there is a little red Bally box at the bottom of the screen like you normally have. It's just there's no Bally Sports South logo in the upper right-hand corner of the screen.
You know who I really feel for? Of course, for the fans who are wanting to watch these games and are not able to watch them. But what about the behind-the-scenes guys, the camera guys, all of these people who are employed by this company, and I wonder, does that affect their paychecks or not?
No, because at the end of the day, baseball is not going to let it fail, so they would just take over those contracts, right?
Yeah.
They would just take over the broadcasting rights and say, okay, now it's ours again. We're going to finish this up until we can find another company to take over, right? So those guys will be fine.
Which I think is what they did between Fox and Bally.
Yeah, I do remember reading something like that where Fox was going to be taken over for them. But Callaway Steve, thanks so much for the call, man, and for continuing this conversation on with us. Hopefully you can continue to watch your Braves throughout the year, but if not, get up with me, man. I've got a few ways that you can make that happen. We'll keep the Braves on your screen, all right?
All right. I'm going to leave you guys alone because it's time to pay the bills.
There we go, my man. It is time to pay the bills. You guys are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Let's keep those calls rolling in. Trivia coming up next, 850-215-6290. Don't be scared.
It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Partly sunny the rest of the day with a wind at 11 miles per hour coming out of the southwest and 79. Tonight, look for a mixture of some clouds and slight fog with a temperature near 69. Tomorrow, a high around 79 and slightly foggy in the morning, followed by some sun. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, located at 2241 East Baldwin Road. Shopping for a garage, portable building, cabin? We build them anywhere from 8 to 16 foot wide, 10 feet to 60 feet long. We can do insulation, electricity, transom dormers, thermal windows. Come, let's customize a building together. Rick Vossen, Stormore Portable Building Dealer, Panama City.
1, 2. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. Keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
You're riding shotgun with the Afternoon Underdogs. We're going to need some gas money. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Fill her up, please.
At 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. This is the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Your Atlanta Braves right now leading 5-1. They're going into the bottom of the 7th against the Seattle Mariners. Right now is going to give you guys what the order due up is, but that is not ready to go yet. Hopefully the Braves can hold on to this, though, and don't get swept by the Mariners because they're going to have the day off tomorrow. Then they continue on their westward way, taking on the Dodgers. Coverage starts Friday, 7:55 for a 9:10 first pitch there, and then Saturday it'll be 6:55 for an 8:10 first pitch, and then Sunday they go first pitch 3:10. Coverage starting here on ESPN Northwest Florida at 1:55. Then they get the day off on Monday, and they'll be taking on the Boston Red Sox. Our traffic jamming trivia question for today for your chance to win 25. Actually, let's just do a swag bag. I've got that boot store wrote down over here. Let's do a swag bag and a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. Who is the only player in NBA history to have won both the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year award in the same season? Who's the only player in NBA history to have won both the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year award in the same season? 850-215-6290. We'll get into some on this day here in a second. Rick Ty texted in, says, we have a subscription to MLB, but the Braves games versus Miami and Tampa get blacked out. We watch those either the next day on MLB or through an app that we downloaded called Dofu, which I've heard of before as well. So there's another method, if you will. Now, do VPNs work with blackouts? Does anyone know that? I don't have a VPN personally, but it's something that, when sometimes I'll be listening to the Joe Rogan podcast and he's talking about those. So I wonder if VPNs would help with the blackouts.
It can work with Netflix, I think, and some stuff like that, but I don't know about some of the other streaming services.
All right. So with a VPN, you can change your IP address to appear as if you're in a different city. That way you can avoid MLB blackouts all from the comfort of your own home. So it does look like possibly VPNs would help with blackouts. I wonder if they would help with, and I really like that idea though, AG, of you getting a cluster of games to choose from, regionally speaking, not the way that I was putting it, because I don't think that that's necessarily feasible. I think that it is if the NFL wanted to do an experiment because of how long the NFL's been around, right? Teams like you got the Rams who have went from LA to St. Louis back to LA. You've got the Raiders. It would be interesting to see how many transplants of fans you have. You know what I mean? Like, how many Titans fans do we have over here in that southeastern region? How many Saints fans are up there in the northwest region of the country?
A lot of that's going to be dependent on who's doing well and winning, because I think you got a lot of bandwagoner type fans that jump on a bandwagon just when a team's doing well too, though.
Well, but maybe it's not just and I have to agree with you. I can't disagree with you because there is that bandwagoning, but there's also the element of storylines. Like, I might not be a Chiefs fan, but if the Chiefs are down 20-7, you know, in the fourth quarter and they're taking on a team that they shouldn't be losing to, or maybe the Buffalo Bills, well, I'm going to be a little bit more intrigued to watch that game. And I'm also a person who I want to watch the close game. So if you're giving me the option of the Bucs versus Saints, right? Let's say that I've been busy, haven't been doing anything, or I've been busy doing things, haven't had the opportunity to watch to tune into any of the games, sit down on the couch, and I've got, it's, going into the fourth quarter, Bucs Saints 2017, or Titans Jaguars, Titans up 48-20, then I'm going to be going with I'm going to go with the Bucs Saints. I'm going to go with the close game right there. So now AG is showing me some. Did he win MVP that year though? Because it's got to be in the same season though.
This is Defensive Player of the Year and MVP.
Oh, David's off the line. All right, David, give us a call back. Somehow we dropped you, 850-215-6290. We'll put you back on here and play a little bit of trivia with you. So apparently there is a multiple answer. I did not know, though, because I said 86-87 there. Mike won MVP in 86-87 as well?
87-88.
Oh, 87-88. So he won MVP in 87-88. I did not know that. But we're looking for a particular answer here. The only player in NBA history to have won both the MVP award and the Defensive Player of the Year award in the same season, according to one particular source, which was Google. So if we're wrong about that and you guys give me the other answer that AG showed me, then we'll hook you up with a swag bag as well. 850-215-6290. Check any Facebook comments, and then we'll dive into on this day. Oh, so it looks like it's happened 3 times. Now, I can get down with that has happened 3 times because one of the ones is recent, and I don't think that they put this quiz out. I think they put this quiz out before Giannis, so we're not going to accept Giannis Antetokounmpo's won MVP and Defensive Player of the Year award as well.
Just wanted to say something, too. We were talking about Bally Sports and talking about the stuff on the TV screen with Steve. Callaway Steve, I wouldn't go too far with putting any water into that. We were watching, MLB, the extra innings, and they have the break screen when there's commercials.
Yeah.
And they got the baseball spinning there, and it's just a dirty, all like beat the crap baseball, which obviously in the MLB you're not going to have, right? It looks like a Little League ball that's been like sitting in a bucket for a year.
A practice ball, yeah.
Or something like that. So just to go show you, if they were going to do something to make it right, maybe they should clean the ball up.
There you go. 1920 on this day, Joe Oshker of the Boston Braves and Leon Cador of the Brooklyn Robins each pitch a 26-inning marathon, 1-1 tie, the longest in Major League history. Boston's Charlie Pick goes 0 for 11 at the plate to set a Major League record for hitless at-bats in one game. I like that name, though, for Brooklyn there, the Brooklyn Robins, and then they just morphed into the Orioles about 100 years later. I don't know exactly how long the Brooklyn Orioles or the Baltimore Orioles have been the Orioles, but 1920, I just messed all that up. I saw the B and went to Baltimore, and that's, yeah, totally opposite there. 1920 legendary slugger Babe Ruth records his first home run for the Yanks in a 6-0 win over his former club, the Boston Red Sox. 1948, at the 74th running of the Kentucky Derby, Eddie Arcaro wins aboard Citation to become first-time Derby winning jockey. I wanted to put one on this day from the Kentucky Derby because I know you're, from that area as well. It is this Saturday, so I do want to find some time for you to tell us about what's going to be happening at the Kentucky Derby. But yeah, could you guess the reason why I put this one in? Just because the horse's name was Citation. He was riding a Citation to the finish line.
I got to wonder, since Saturday also happens to be May the 4th, are they going to have any Star Wars named horses?
Ooh.
And if so, I think I'd put a bet on that.
I don't know. I mean, I think they name those horses, when they're born. So.
No, I know that, but I mean, I hear that, but I mean, there has been times too where we've had like horses who have names in like a derby with something kind of going on that's kind of relevant, and it kind of made sense. So I'm just thinking,
what I think would be cool is if after the derby is ran, somebody goes back and photoshops the video to where it's like whoever wins it is wearing a Darth Vader costume and then everybody else is wearing stormtroopers.
There you go.
So like they're following Darth Vader to the finish line. I thought that.
I like that, though. I like that. I was talking on the Inside Drive with the guys earlier. So the other night, I think it was 2 nights ago, I put on Star Wars Episode 1 because I want to watch Star Wars.
Now, do you mean the Phantom Menace Episode 1, or do you mean A New Hope?
Yeah.
From 1977.
No, like the In Order Episode 1.
Okay.
Or whatever. So like the one from the 90s.
That's Phantom Menace.
Okay. Right. Okay, I don't have a clue. And so that's why I'm actually trying to watch is because I want to dive a little bit deeper into, pop culture or whatever. At least have some sort of knowledge when people start talking about these popular movies. And I'm just like, when y'all start talking about movies, I don't care what setting it is that I'm in. If it's right here on the air, if it's off the air, I almost check out because I have no idea. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to watch, Star Wars and try to watch all of the movies, and then that way, at least I'll have some. I got about 10 minutes in, fell asleep. So
do it how you want.
It's going to take me some years.
Don't start at 1.
Do 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and then go.
Actually, you could
7, 8,
probably
9.
start. Yeah, you could start at 4, 5, 6.
Why wouldn't I want to watch them in the order that they were supposed to?
Watch them in the order that they were, like they came out in, because there's going to be some kind of holes, and there's going to be a couple of things here and there that might don't add up. But if you watch it in the order they were made, I think you'll understand it a little bit more as to why they did what they did. See, if you watch them in 1 through 9, it's kind of
9.
Yeah, it might be kind of janky. Yeah.
Well, there's more than that, right? So there's Rogue One, which
I might be putting this plan.
There's Rogue One, which actually takes place in between 3 and 4.
Okay.
Right. So I would recommend watching Rogue One, which was one of my favorite Star Wars movies. Right. So watch Rogue One, and then watch 4, 5, and 6. Then go back, watch 1, 2, 3 to kind of backfill.
Okay.
And then you can jump into 7, 8, 9, and then there's TV shows and other things that go in with it, right?
Because I looked up a guide on how to watch them or whatever, and that's what it gave me a TV
Disney
show
Plus,
first.
If you have Disney
I can watch
Plus,
whatever I want to watch.
What I'm saying, if you have Disney Plus, though, you can actually get it in sequential order.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, this one had me, it wanted me to watch some, like, TV show first. And I was like, I really just care about watching the movies. Like, and really just I thought there was only 6 movies, but then now I'm finding out there's 9 movies. So there's 10
actually
movies.
11 with Solo.
Yeah,
right?
but like
Solo,
I said, those are 2 standalone that don't really, I mean, like people call them that they count, but really Star Wars is 9.
Yeah, but if you think about it, Rogue One actually sets up 4.
If you really think about it, ever since the original 3, it really kind of went down the toilet. And I think Disney's also, well, I don't want to go down there, but yeah. Good luck.
Do you agree as well, though, that it's went down the toilet since the...
7 had its value. 8 had its entertainment value, but canonly speaking, not very good. 9, I thought, jumped the shark a little bit, but it was entertaining. Rogue One is actually one of my favorites.
Rogue One's okay, but like Episode 5, man. Empire Strikes Back. That's the movie.
All right, here's what we're going to do. I want you guys to think of your favorite Star Wars movie. All right, don't say it out loud. And I'm going to count to 3. Do you guys have it in your head?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to count to 3, and I want you guys to say it at the same time so it doesn't influence your decision at all. Okay, all right? So 1, 2, 3.
Empire.
What'd you just say?
Empire.
Hey,
everybody knows.
So that's just the one? Is that Star Wars fans' favorite?
It is, I don't know, like the way I put it, the way I look at it is, and this is the reason why I like it, okay? There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens in the movie. You hear a lot about the story, a lot of plot twists and whatnot. But also for me, and this is probably going to make me sound like a bad person, but it's more true to real life. The bad guys actually win in this movie. People actually get hurt and stuff like that. It doesn't always a happy ending. And so that's another reason why. And it's also the first time you see Boba Fett.
Jimmy on YouTube also said Empire.
Empire. So there it is. Yeah, I want to hear from our listeners. What is your favorite Star Wars movie?
We're not going to be on the air Saturday, so May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. I do have the horse list over here. And Kyle Albritton says now they are best friends. Oh, maybe he's talking about you guys, or is there someone in Star Wars?
Well, it's a line from Step Brothers.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Now I do know
another pop culture reference that David Hayes.
Right. Well, and that's sad though because I have watched Step Brothers quite a few times. Funny movies I can get down with, and I can get down with movies too. It's just I can watch a movie and then within an hour of watching the movie I have no recollection. Like I don't have the recall that I have with sports. Like if I watch something, it's like, all right, boom, that's embedded up there. With movies, it's like, wait, what happened again? Now I got to go read the Sparks notes for something that I just watched an hour ago.
A buddy of mine on Whatnot, his birthday is actually May the 4th.
Oh, okay. Happy early birthday, brother.
Yeah, that's for Big Fred. And he's actually going to, he's in New Jersey, but he's actually going to the Yankees game on that Saturday.
Oh, nice.
I think they're doing some kind of like Star Wars thing up there too. And he's a nerd, pop culture guy like we are as well. So I'm sure he's going to have a lot of fun. So happy birthday, Fred.
I love how that word has now become almost a compliment.
Why?
Like nerd.
Oh, 100%.
Nerd. Yeah, it's like back in the day, if you were called a nerd, it's kind of you're got your nose in the book, all that good stuff.
It's another word for cultured.
Yeah,
right.
That's fair. Yeah,
that's just smart, man. Just a nerd
drowning in cultured. Drowning in
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it's a negative connotation. Like you're dying from it.
You can have culture, not
drowning. Well, yeah, I guess drowning and dying, but like you're immersed in the culture at that 100%. Point. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Rick dresses up as his favorite Star Wars character, but I don't.
Man. Like
you don't.
No.
Do that?
No, man. Like far as I'll go with stuff like other than Halloween and wearing stuff is like wearing a jersey. That's about it, man. About as far as I'm going to take it.
So, what Star Wars character are you going to be wearing a jersey of?
Well, I have a T-shirt, Boba Fett T-shirt, a couple of them.
Oh, yeah, you did kind of already mention that.
Yeah, and that's another reason why, man, like the whole Mandalorian thing, man, whatever, dude. Boba Fett's it, dude.
I got to check out what Boba Fett looks like.
He's the baddest bounty hunter in the galaxy.
He's the baddest man alive, Boba Fett. Okay, yeah, he does look kind of cool. Who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Probably Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Ewan McGregor. It's hard to go wrong there.
Way, man. Alec Guinness, yo. The hell with Ewan McGregor? You got to go OG. Alec Guinness, man.
Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan was phenomenal.
No.
There we go. We are out of time for this segment. Still looking for a trivia winner. Who is the only player in NBA history to have won both the MVP award and the Defensive Player of the Year award in the same season? 850-215-6290. Quick break. We'll be right back.
America's team plays here.
And a rocket to right field. This thing is into orbit.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Acuna, Ozzie, and Austin Riley lead the Braves' high-powered offense.
Swung on, belted, deep right field. Get out of here, Ozzie. Home run. Ball game.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored by Brock's Pest Control, Store More Portable Buildings, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Billburn Kia, and Mid-South Lumber.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Partly sunny the rest of the day with a wind at 11 miles per hour coming out of the southwest and 79. Tonight, look for a mixture of some clouds and slight fog with a temperature near 69. Tomorrow, a high around 79 and slightly foggy in the morning, followed by some sun. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat donut. For a limited time, enjoy the Kit Kat Donut Collection at Krispy Kreme Donuts. Choose from the Kit Kat Salted Caramel Brownie or the Kit Kat Cookie Dream. And break off a piece of that Kit Kat Crunch Donut. So give yourself a break with the Kit Kat Donut Collection only at Krispy Kreme Donuts. Next to Gulf Coast Hospital, 23rd Street, Panama City, and the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan.
ESPN Northwest Florida. He entered a kids' 1 mile fun run and came in 9th. David Hayes is part of the Afternoon Underdogs. Weekdays 4 to 6 on ESPN Northwest Florida and the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
And we are back. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is our number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Adam Goff, Caveman Rick, and this is going to be the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd Mueller. But before we get over to Todd, we've got Ken. Ken, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What's going on, my man? You ready to play a little trivia with us?
Hey, let's play.
All right. Who is the only player? Well, we say only. We've now found out there's 2 players in NBA history to have won both the MVP award and the Defensive Player of the Year award in the same season. What player do you have for us?
My man, Michael Jordan.
We are going to accept that. He did that in 87-88 season. I've got Hakeem Olajuwon here, 93-94 season. And we're going to be hooking you up with a swag bag here from ESPN Northwest Florida. Have you ever been here to pick up a prize before, Ken?
Yes, I have.
Awesome, man. Well, we look forward to seeing you here shortly in the future. Caveman Rick is going to grab a little bit more info from you. Just do me a favor and hang on the line, all right?
Okay, thank you.
All right, that is Ken, our big winner for the day. And now we transition over to the takeover with PCB Hobby and PCB Hobby's very own Todd Mueller. Todd, what's going on, man? Been a busy man as always.
What's going on, everybody? Oh, yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Caveman Rick's going to pot you up there. All right, let's go back to it.
What's going on,
What's
everybody?
going on, man?
Everything's going pretty good. I usually say happy Monday, but I guess I'll say happy Wednesday.
There we go.
And I'm shocked I even know it's Wednesday. It's been so busy. So, we just got back from C2E2 in Chicago, nice. Comic book convention, and it was sweet. We had such a good time. We went up there on Wednesday, hit Nashville, and then went up on Thursday to Chicago and got to hang out with a bunch of good friends, people, did the floor and all that, bought a ton of comic book exclusives. So if you're into comic books, you like comic books, anything that have to do with comic books, you got to come to the shop because we got some fire.
With, holidays, culture holidays like May the 4th coming up.
May the 4th's coming up this Saturday.
Does Star Wars have comic books too?
So are you ready for this? Yes, they do. Number 1. Number 2, it's also free comic book day on Saturday.
Let's go.
I'm not kidding. It's
Every Derby Day.
Yeah, so basically, we're going to hand out free comic books. We have assorted ones that we're going to be handing out, basically bags with assorted free comic books. And we're going to be doing some streaming. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. And, of course, it's May the 4th be with you. Most of the people at the shop will be wearing Star Wars gear. And, again, we will be selling on the stream Star Wars comic books.
There we go. And that's going to be the eBay live stream?
eBay live stream, yep. We're going to do eBay live stream, and it's going to be fun. So we have been kicking up our eBay live, by the way, if y'all didn't know, under PCB Hobby. The coolest thing is you can stream at the same time PCB hobby. So in other words, I can have a coin stream going and at the same time have a sports card stream going.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of times we have 3 and 4 streams going exactly at the same time. So if you're into trading card games, we got one of those going. If you're into sports cards, we got breaks going, or we've got singles selling. If you're into coins, you're into comic books, we got it all. And it's all at the same time. Not during the same stream. There's 4 different streams actually going on eBay. So it's really cool. We're super excited about it, and it's been a great, successful platform. So, so successful that I have some shocking, awesome news.
No, so we can break the news now.
We can break the news now.
Let's go.
So we have acquired a new space, not retail, a headquarters, so to speak. So we now have a headquarters that all of our shipping, fulfillment, HR, personnel, streaming, processing, you name it. We're going to have a whole slew of people there, and we're going to be doing it to it. We got studios set up where there's going to be 4 or 5 studios. We're going to be streaming just about 24/7.
This is just exclusively on eBay?
eBay and whatnot. And whatnot, yeah. And actually TikTok. We actually do some TikTok stuff now.
Okay, cool.
Right, yeah, absolutely. We hired a gentleman who has a lot of experience on TikTok, and sure enough, he's been going at it. So we're pretty excited about that. Sports cards has been really exciting lately. We've actually been doing a lot of streaming box breaks. We do a lot of blaster boxes, which are the $30 to $60 type boxes.
Yeah.
And we have been pulling some fire. It's been crazy what can be pulled out of those things. I kid you not, I walked around the corner right before I was left to go to the headquarters this afternoon, and Josh, one of our streamers we hired, started hollering, 101, 101, we just got a superfractor. So somebody pulled a superfractor 101 auto, which minimum nobodies are $300-400.
Yeah.
This is out of a $30 box. So
even the nobodies are running for that.
Yeah, because they're the superfractors.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the 101 superfractors. It must have been out of Topps Chrome or Bowman or one of those.
So that's one of those situations where the card is actually worth more, like the 101 factor of it being a superfractor is more valuable than what the actual player is.
The most sought after ones. And if you hit the monster person who happens to be in that set, we're tens of thousands of dollars.
If not more. I think Jackson Holliday's Bowman first went for well over 6 figures.
Yeah.
6 figures.
Yeah, crazy. Super crazy. So we have bought some new inventory, and we're working on a deal right now to get some higher end inventory as well for sports cards. So that's pretty cool. We just went to a show last weekend and picked up a bunch of TCG stuff, Pokemon, and we got a show this weekend that we're going to do some more sports cards and TCG stuff at. And then I think our next Comic Con is Heroes Con in June. So we have a table at that one actually. So we'll be setting up. We're doing some exclusive stuff with comic books, and we sent about 450 comics off to get graded. So we're going to literally have a huge graded inventory when that comes back.
And that's not a cheap bill.
I was about to say, I wonder how the shipping was on that.
Yeah, well, we submitted almost all of it in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
and so at the booth, so there was no shipping there. So that saved us a ton of money.
There you go, man. That is awesome.
Excited. Got a lot of signatures. Got about 200 signatures submitted, which means signed comic books. Got those submitted. So we have a ton of what's called yellow label CGCs, which is pretty awesome. And I mean, it's been busy. It's been nuts. Like I said, we have the headquarters. We're actually renovating the front of it, so it's going to be nice with offices and stuff like that. And we have some warehouse space, and we're just super excited. It's it's not a location that any customer is going to go to. It's all back end personnel.
Yes, sir, man, and I'm excited about that. It'll make the commute. It'll break down the commute a lot for you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think we have anything particular going on this weekend as far as like trade day or anything like that, or Super Saturday. I think that's next weekend. But I'd have to check the calendar. I'm sure on the calendar it will say if we got something going on. There
Super Saturday is next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
but you do, you guys got Thursday night One Piece tomorrow night,
and we have I think Pokemon and Lorcana tonight, general play I believe, and then Friday night, of course, Friday Night Magic. Last Friday night we had our largest Magic crew there ever. 54 players.
And the week prior was like, what, 45,
40,
I think?
Yeah,
48 maybe? Yeah.
40, 45, something like that.
So it's growing each week.
It's growing each week. It's nuts. And obviously the more people that come out for it and the more people that participate, the prizes are bigger, the events are stronger. We can be able to bring in, special events where we do like 1Ks and stuff like that. We actually give $1,000 away and you can get entered into other tournaments and things like that. So it's important to have a strong community, play community.
I'm just trying to find out, is it going to be 1 or 2 years before you guys either move into a bigger location or buy another storefront right there
I don't
next
know.
beside you?
I don't know. So
we're going to drive by one day and that whole entire shopping center is just going to be
the Super Center. Yeah. So anyway, so a lot of good stuff going on. Other than that, I think we have a few new releases. I think Topps Heritage came out today.
Topps Heritage Mini.
Mini, that's what it is. Topps Heritage Mini. You're correct. And so we had several people come in and purchase that today. And then I think Recon Basketball came out today as well, but we actually are not, maybe secondary market, we might get some, but anyways. And I think that's about it for that. Other than that, strong stuff with coins, always getting a lot of new inventory in. And the streams have been pretty awesome. So,
well, there's been some pretty big news with Topps this week, right?
There is.
So the redemption thing was huge for hobbyists and collectors and sellers, where now there's a 10-year expiration. So if you pull an auto from a product, as of before yesterday, essentially, or 2 days ago, there was a 2-year window that you would submit, that you had to submit that redemption. And even then, Topps wasn't, for the most part, fulfilling their end of the bargain. But now there's a 10-year window on all redemptions that you submit, right? So if you pulled if you pulled an Ellie De La Cruz auto out of 24 Topps Chrome Black, like today or 5 years from now, you can send it in and still get it. And they also went retroactive back to 21-22 product, which is huge because there's a lot of product that's still being ripped.
Oh yeah,
from those years. And even back to 2019, 2018. I mean, there's stuff that people
I
still
remember
rip.
the 2013 Topps Black, where we were like 3 years old at the time, and we got a bunch of it in. We got a great deal on it. We got a bunch of it in, and people ripped and there were Ken Griffey Jr. autos, so that couldn't be redeemed. Couldn't be redeemed because it was past the 2 years.
Yeah.
So there's some very interesting stuff like that. Also, I heard in the news too that Topps has decided to go ahead and move forward with basketball, NBA, without logos. They're going to just go ahead and move forward, Fanatics and Topps, and do them just like Panini's been doing. Remember, all the Panini draft pick baseball stuff has college jersey stuff, and anything NBA that they do, like Recon, Panini didn't have baseball, so like Prism, baseball and stuff like that, they just had them in their jerseys without the logos and stuff like that. So Topps decided, you know what, let's flip the script. Let's do that right now until we get in 2025 or 2026, get the actual licenses. So Fanatics is like, yeah, let's move forward, let's do it. Which I think is hilarious because I think that's the nail in the coffin right there. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think once they start coming out of the products and everybody sees how hot they're going to be, Panini's just going to have to.
Well, I mean, I remember being a kid. When I say kid, I'm talking 16, 17, and Topps was top of the line. I mean, if you had a second year Kobe Bryant Topps Chrome, today in a PSA 10, that thing is $900 to $1,000, and it's basically a base card. It's just chrome, right?
Yeah, the refractor is monster.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. So them getting back into basketball is such a huge thing. And Todd's right. Like, as a collector / seller myself, it's, there's a niche market for unlicensed baseball.
Of course.
Right? So a lot of it on eBay,
really?
Not so much on whatnot. Yeah. So there's a lot of big collectors that don't want to do it because it is unlicensed, right? So what Topps is doing right now, I don't think people are going to care because it has that Topps name.
Yeah.
Right? So they released a photo of Victor Wembanyama, and it doesn't say Spurs on it. It just says San Antonio. and there he is holding a basketball, and it's his autograph. It was like his superfractor or whatever. But yeah, huge news coming out from Topps.
So you still know what the jerseys are.
Of course, you know exactly who it is. I mean,
Yeah.
because if they do, let's say Wembanyama or pick somebody who's well known. They put Jordan in it or
Okay,
whatever,
there you
right?
go.
He's going to be in a red jersey, but he's not going to have the Bulls logo. But it doesn't matter. It's Jordan.
Yeah.
And it's MJ, right? So they'll be doing all kinds. They've already signed for some Tom Brady stuff, and I'm telling you, Fanatics has got it going on, and them acquiring Topps was the smartest move. And furthermore, I think eventually acquiring Panini is going to be the ticket. And again, they're not going to get rid of them.
Yeah.
That's what everybody forgets. And they're going to carry all these lines of products, and they're just going to rule the world, which is awesome. And I love that because, again, they both make good products. I like the Prism stuff is fantastic. The Bowman stuff, fantastic. And those are two different worlds. But it doesn't matter. The fact that if it is, everybody wants that stuff. And they come from two different camps. So Fanatics owns those two camps, and they keep producing it that way, and they have all the licenses. I mean, you're going to get full-blown cards, or there is not going to be any, you have to get the college cards to get this, or you have to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty excited about that. I mean, I think it's great stuff.
Well, and then where Topps has the advantage in this basketball set is they have an exclusive right with Victor Wembanyama, right? So he's not signing his Panini cards, his Prism and Select and all that other stuff. They're your first chance to get a big-time Victor Wembanyama auto outside of Topps Dynasty, which is a baseball product.
Wait, you can get a Wemby autograph?
So there's 16 different Wembanyama patch autos out of Topps Dynasty Baseball.
Yeah. And remember, Tom Brady was in
Bowman.
Was in the Bowman
draft.
But Tom Brady was drafted in baseball,
I get it. But in the end, he's a football player. And
Cross
football
market,
player just about ever. So, again, hey, Tom Brady.
Hey, Tom Brady. Come do a signing for us over here.
LLC Inc. Trademarked.
There you go. Caveman Rick, I know you had something.
I was going to ask, okay, so without doing like the logos on those cards and being able to do that, is there any talk or, can they do something maybe a little quirky or different where like you're not standing there like in a baseball uniform wearing something else or like a different type of uniform or just something to make it appeal to different people to make it a little different in your standard like, baseball card, for instance?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the end, if you really think about it, Topps and Fanatics and some of these companies, it's all about licensing.
Yeah.
It's all about deals. If you think they didn't have their people there at every event taking the photos, getting the information, for all the players, finding out who the best rookies are, and all that stuff, they were. It didn't matter if they had the license or not. Topps will come out with a bang on this stuff, and they will be cool cards. They'll do some new, really cutting edge stuff on the cards that will really have nothing to do with the logos. I mean, they've been doing it in Upper Deck's been doing it with Goodwin Champions, and I can't remember what the one is that Topps does, but I think it starts with a G. Anyways, I can't remember. Yeah, Gypsy Queen.
Gypsy Queen.
They've been doing it. They have all kinds of players, sports, different things in there and stuff like that. And so, yeah, they're just going to be creative until they get those licenses.
There you go, man.
It's
Man, interesting. It is interesting for me that there's a niche for people just collecting stuff that doesn't have the licensing on it and whatnot. I think that's really cool.
Remember, in the two products I just mentioned, you could get redemptions for bugs. You could get redemptions for a piece of someone's hair. I mean, just stuff, just different. It's not just about, specifically you're getting a jersey card or a patch card or an autograph. I mean, there are other cool things in some of these products, which is why like you mentioned Wembanyama being in a baseball product.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they do. They cross-promote. Again, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I think, man, they do a lot better with their collecting memorabilia and all of the other things that they manufacture outside of the old Major League Baseball uniforms, which they're going to be fixing that as well. Todd, I ran across an article today on collecting coins and gave 5 ways to collect to invest in silver, right? And one of it was investing in silver mining stocks. What are your thoughts
Heard of
there?
that. So it's kind of weird. You're investing in a company that mines for silver, Okay. So really call it you're investing in a company who deals with a widget.
Okay.
And sometimes they have lots of widgets. Sometimes they don't have as many widgets. Call it, you can even call it a Chinese company who makes toothpaste. They're pumping out toothpaste every day, and you invest in them. And it's just a widget. I mean, so I don't really think you're into silver when you're investing in a mining company, personally.
Yeah.
However, there are stocks that ride off of silver pricing and funds and stuff like that, where you're not physically investing in the silver, but you're investing in companies who are physically investing in the silver. So it's kind of a weird thing. Here's what a lot of people don't know, and this is from what I understand, is that everything has a contract these days where you can have what's called paper contracts on something. So somebody says, I want to invest in 10 million ounces of silver. But they can't really be delivered 10 million ounces of silver. So what they do is they make a contract that they want 10 million ounces in silver value, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the money for it. Mm-hmm. I'm owed for it. But then if it goes up, I can sell my paper contract. So what that effectively does is that controls the market price. It's all a market price at that point. It controls the market price. And since it controls the market price, silver and gold can't really be rare almost in a way. So we're at the highest gold's been in forever right now. And they're just unable to control it. But they really still are controlling it with paper contracts. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. If anybody would just get smart and they would all call their contracts and say, I want my physical gold, well, there wouldn't be enough gold in the world to do that.
Man, so what happens?
So that would shoot the price of gold up to tens of thousands of dollars. But they're never going to do that because the powers that be are the ones who own the contracts.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things where, and that's how we got off the gold standard. That's how they fixed the Hunt brothers back in the 80s. And look, I was born in 76. I had no awareness of the Hunt brothers. I only learned all that once I got into the coin business. And so they started buying up all the silver, and the price went way up to $50 an ounce because everyone was freaking out. Oh my God, there's no silver, right? And that's when they basically made paper contracts and said, nope, you can't do that. And we're going to control it with paper.
I thought they did it pizza at gas stations, the Hunt brothers. My bad.
For some reason, Caveman Rick, I knew you were going to say that.
Well, Todd, we are over our time here. What else do you want to leave the people with before you go?
Come in and say hi. It's going to be a busy weekend, so if you want to get away, come visit.
And comic Saturday, comic book Saturday.
Free comic books on Saturday, free comic book day, and may the 4th be with you.
There we go. That's Todd Mueller, owner of PCB Hobby. If you have not checked out the shop yet, you are missing out, especially if you're a coin collector, sports card collector, trading card game collector, or comic book collector. And I'm sure they've got a little bit of everything else over there at PCB Hobby for you. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
The next evolution in sports talk radio. We're back! On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Hello.
The only live afternoon show in Panama City where you can win fantastic prizes from amazing local businesses every day.
That's right.
4 to 6 weekdays. The Afternoon Underdogs.
It's mayhem!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday evening. As we head into tonight, a mixture of partly cloudy skies and slight fog and a low of 69 with a calm wind. For tomorrow morning, slight fog and some clouds and a temp near 79. In the afternoon and evening, a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour, sunny and a high around 81. For Friday, some sun and a high of 80. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
So you've heard the saying that if you love your job, you'll never have to work? Well, it's true.
I've worked for Brock Lawn and Pest Control for many years. The commitment to the needs of customers
and their commitment to each employee makes Brock a company I'm very proud to be a part of.
Brock's core values are also mine. Give people more than they expect and always honor your promises.
This isn't a job, it's a service to help people live a healthier lifestyle.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting your family.
You think you've been on your grind? The 11-year-old cashier at the Gin Gin puts in more hours than you.
Do any of you people do any actual work?
Just saying.
We might need to work on your sales pitch.
Let's work and more play.
All right, show's over. Everybody back to work.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Doghouse. This is the Afternoon Underdogs, your home for the Atlanta Braves. And for 7 years, ESPN Northwest Florida has been your home for these Braves on the Gulf Coast. And thanks to our loyal Braves fans for making this possible. To show our gratitude, we're sending more listeners to Atlanta to see the Braves than ever before. So keep listening for details on how to win tickets to Truist from your home for the Atlanta Braves, ESPN Northwest Florida. Brought to you by Brock's Pest Control, Stormore Portable Buildings, Bill Bird Kia, Mid-South Lumber, and by PCB Hobby. Also, Leanne, the coach's daughter, sent this over to me over there at the Rainforest Blacklight Golf and Arcade. Epic Realty is going to be putting on a little tournament over there that's going to benefit the Bay County Council of Aging. This is going to be the inaugural event, the first annual Blacklight Putt-Putt Golf Tournament. You can sign up today. There's going to be teams of 4 and win prizes. I think we need to get into this, man. If they'll let us register online some way or somehow, and get over there at 6 o'clock and take over there. So if we can put a team, oh wait, this is going to be tomorrow. I got softball tomorrow. So never mind. That is out of the plan for us, but you guys can go over there, put a team of 4 in and win some prizes. You can contact Summer at 404-789-7858 or Allison at 850-630-2737. Let's do a live prank call to them. Hey, this is Ralph Jackson. For tickets to play or sponsor, you can call them. And let's go pack that out for them, the Bay County Council of Aging. What your Reds doing over there, AG?
Down 6-2. Just give a grand slam to Cronenworth.
Man, that's when you need AJ Minter pitching for you.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I'm sure that I know a lot of teams. I would say all 29 other Major League Baseball teams would love to have a guy like AJ Minter in the pen. Just Braves fans are a little incredulous about that guy, huh?
Y'all are fickled. You really are. I've said it before with some buddies of mine. Like, Braves fans are so spoiled.
Yeah.
And one bad thing happens, and it's like, holy cow. Reds fans are notoriously negative. I mean, a.k.a. Kyle Wright. Right, but like I can get down on my team, but at the same time, I look at the Reds right now as like, look, we're treading water. Get healthy, stay within striking distance at the All-Star break, and I'm fine.
Yeah,
right? Like I'm okay. But Braves fans, they're on another level.
Yeah, and it's wild too to get to that level of spoiled with only one World Series, like from this team, right? 2021 having the World Series, and then But I think the other thing that helps the Braves fans be that spoiled is by having 2 great runs after that in the regular season, not in the postseason by any stretch of the imagination. To me, with the game of baseball, like I don't care if a guy has 3 bad outings in a row. It's like, all right, maybe he can bounce back from the next one, And then again, with the AJ Minter and the fans that you speak of, I've had to get out of Braves groups, bro, because I used to be in a bunch of. We used to get a lot more views on Facebook and stuff because I would be in so many different sports groups, and I would throw our videos into those sports groups. And I worked for a long time, like getting permission to do that, because you can't just you can get into sports groups and just start spamming your stuff there, but they're just going to kick you out of the group if you're not actually being interactive with the group. So I would do that, but then, man, like I would be sitting there on the weekends and just reading about what these Braves fans are posting, and I'm like, I've had enough, man. Like I cannot, like it's with Alabama fans, Braves fans, Lightning fans had a stretch, but I think that we've crashed back to reality with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think we had some
had a good run.
We had a great run. That's what, I mean. Rick said something to me about that the other night. He's like, how do you feel about the Lightning getting manhandled in the first round? I'm like, honestly, for them being able to go back to back like they did, and we're still in the playoffs. Yeah, it's a first round bounce, and it's not the best thing. I think the sad part of it, like, I'm not mad at all. The sad part is you're starting to see this core group of players, and that the writing is not even on the wall anymore. Like, this team right here, unless there's some sort of young star that's about to be added to it, I think that their time as a Stanley Cup true contender is over, and that's kind of sad to see.
I don't like what John Cooper had to say after that loss, losing that series.
About the goaltender and skirts?
Blaming, and just blaming, the officiating and saying, the goaltenders need to be more tough because, honestly, you guys got a huge goaltender. You guys benefited from a lot of calls over the last handful of years. Yeah. And for him to just kind of be petty and throwing that out there like that, it's like, come on, man. I thought you guys were a little bit. Well, I thought he was a little bit better than that, to be honest with you. I thought that was a little disappointing saying that after the run that you guys have had.
And I agree with you that. I agree with you on that. I think that was him speaking out of emotion, which doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it right that he said that.
Game.
It could have been Kuch's last game?
Oh, Stamkos.
It could have been Stammer's last game with him, which I don't know about that. Let's say Toronto, does he want to go back home to Toronto and he doesn't have to wear the C on his jersey, and does he want to do that? Does he want to try to stick it out with the Lightning? I don't know. There's a lot of questions to be answered there. But as far as Coop goes, just a bad choice of words, a bad choice of excuses. But at the end of the day, you say those things, you got to live with them, and then you just move on, because it's hard for me to it's hard for me to see someone do a lot of good stuff and then one bad thing and then just be like, well, that, all of your good stuff.
We're talking about Jim Irsay.
But that's like Tom Brady. Hey, man, everybody come out and shake my hand when I win, but then somebody like Nick Foles beats me in the Super Bowl, I'm going to turn my back and run into the tunnel and not shake the guy's hand. It's like, come on, man. You got, when everybody was tossing you flowers, you stood there and you accepted them, and now when it's time for you to give somebody a little grace or whatever, here you are basically giving them a finger. That's not cool.
Yeah, Tom Brady did do that a lot, and I'm not gonna sit here and be like, well, he gets to do that because he's the GOAT. He does what he does, and we can only react after that. But you do have there's a point there, Well, what can you do? He's Tom Brady, right?
Right.
Oh, man. So let's go over some of these scores. It is a final from the Braves. They end up getting the win 5-2. They were out hit 10-6, though. They were out hit 10-6. The Mariners did have 2 errors. Braves get the better of them and get to that 20-win threshold. Mariners fall to 17-14. The Phillies leading the Angels right now 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th.
No Mike Trout. Blah.
Yeah, no Mike Trout. Is it time for Mike Trout to? Do you foresee him hanging it up anytime soon with the injuries? I saw a chart somewhere. Just DH him from now on.
Don't put him in the field anymore. DH him. Let him play out his time in Los Angeles where he wants to be, apparently, because he's had his opportunities, right?
I think he just fits in with Rendon.
Everybody talks about him going back to Philly, but I feel like if he wanted that to happen, it would have happened a couple years ago.
He's made it known he wants to be a player that only plays for one team and one team only. So you have to give him some credit there.
Oh, yeah.
But like you said, maybe just make him DH, let him run out the contract, and then when the contract's over, see you later, walk off into the sunset.
$281 million of what they've paid for Rendon and Mike Trout since 2021. I think either prior to the 2021 season or at the end of the 2021 season, they paid $281 million for them to be on the field together for like 160 something games or something like that. Just absolutely, it's tough. Now with a guy like Mike Trout, you're like, yeah, you get injured, you miss half the season, and whatever. We're going to Trout you back out there
for part of that time too.
Yeah,
so yeah, that's even something else to think about. No playoff wins.
No, that's
0-3 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
His biggest at-bat was him against Shohei in the World Baseball Classic. That's like his most important moment, I guess.
Oh, do you think so?
Well, I mean, like, where else is it?
I think it's the most recent.
Well, where's another moment in his career that you can say was, like, as watched, as memorable, as much, like, anticipated?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many elements of that storyline right there. Just teammate versus teammate, Japan versus USA. It wasn't for the title, was it?
I
don't think it was a group play game, but I want maybe it was a semifinal game. But yeah, actually, I don't know. It's either a semifinal or a final game, but man, yeah, you're right. I guess that's the biggest in an exhibition game to some extent. That's the biggest at-bat of Mike Trout's career. So I'm with you guys. I don't think necessarily hang it up, but man, I mean, if you have 2 more years like this where you miss more than half the season, which it looks like on the light end of things, he'll miss 4 to 6 weeks. On the heavy end of things, we have no idea because there's no timetable for return. But 2 more years like this, and I mean, doesn't that tarnish your legacy to a pretty retiring right here? That's what I was about to say. Is his legacy kind of tarnished by injury?
The greatest player that has produced the least amount probably in his career.
Well, I mean, there are people that like to draw comparisons between he and Griffey, right?
Okay.
But the thing is what Griffey was able to do in Seattle was absolutely phenomenal, right? I mean, they had the most wins in baseball, when they played the Yankees in that series, and Griffey was doing it all, and then he gets traded to Cincinnati. He comes back home, and then injuries kind of set in. He was still able to eclipse 500 and 600 home runs, as a Cincinnati Red. But I feel like Trout's accomplishments aren't nearly as close to what Griffey was able to bring to baseball.
He does have one huge one, though. I heard earlier today, I think it was Hembo mentioning on our network here on Greeny. I mean, his WAR for his career, his wins against replacements, 84, man. It's like through the roof, dude, and it's like higher than a lot of guys like you were mentioning, like Griffey and stuff like that. So, I mean, he does have some, or like had a meaningful career. It's just unfortunate the team he played for and how things went. And I mean, can you call him a bust? I mean, almost. I think he almost kind of can in a way.
He's a Hall of Famer. I don't think you can call a Hall of Famer a bust.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
He is, 100%. 100%. I don't care about the injuries. You look at what he was able to do when he was on the field.
Yeah. But by those numbers, wouldn't Bo Jackson have to be a Hall of Famer?
No, I think he's got better numbers than Bo Jackson, right? It's unbelievable what that man was able to is able to accomplish on a baseball field.
Yeah.
His stolen bases have obviously tapered off quite a bit here recently with all the injuries. But if he's in the lineup, you're looking out for him, right?
Yeah.
You know where he's coming up. Is he on deck? Is he in the hole? Is he fifth in this, in this inning potentially? So he's a Hall of Famer in my book. It's just one of those situations where it's just unfortunate that this dude just could not stay healthy.
And not only that, though, he was on a great pace this year. As far as home runs go, RBIs weren't looking the greatest. They were, almost even with what his home runs were. I think he was on pace at one point to hit 64 home runs and have 84 RBIs to go along with that. But yeah, I think he had over 10 home runs, was mashing the ball. And I think that's the saddest part of it. And, to some extent, I would say that the A's are outplaying their expectations by losing Shohei Ohtani, and then to have, I think, 14? I think
you know the Angels or
the
A's?
The Angels. We did talk about the A's earlier. Yeah, so they're 11-19 now. But 2 weeks ago or so, it was like, to even be 11-19 for the Angels, to me, they seem like a 5-win team after the first month not having Shohei Ohtani any longer.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, like I said, but I hope he's able to get back because I think baseball is better with him in it.
Yeah. You don't think that all of the stars now in the game, because Mike Trout's one of those ones that you just don't hear as much about these days with the way that Major League Baseball is dominated by these youngins right now.
He doesn't have the swag of like a Ronald Acuna or Ellie De La Cruz.
He's a green collar or blue collar guy. Yeah,
he's a blue collar dude, and
paid like a white collar fella.
But he's the guy that I think the everyday man can look at and go, that's who I would like to be on a baseball
He's not
field.
looking for attention either, though. He wants to stay low-key, and he wants to stay kind of under the radar. So when you're kind of like that, too, and you're not looking for the spotlight, it's kind of hard to prop you up if you're not looking for it.
Go to Oakland, then.
Yeah, it'll be Sacramento and then Vegas.
Yeah, but you got to get out of there before you go to Vegas, because at that point, it's going to be too late for you. Just 2 minutes before I let you guys take over, which quarterback in the NFL draft landed in the best spot, in your opinion? I don't think that we can have Caleb Williams in this conversation, because is it safe to say that he landed in the best spot, Caleb Williams?
I think so, with the weapons that are going to be around him.
And I agree, too. Do you agree, or do you have someone else?
Yeah, that's probably it.
All right, then. So who would be number 2?
Jaden Daniels.
I
think Washington has, with Brian Robinson there, Terry McLaurin there, a bevy of wide receivers at his disposal. I think, they've got a new defensive coach, head coach now. So I think they're in the best spot. I mean, he's got Cliff Kingsbury there now to coach him as the offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. So I think Jaden Daniels landed in the perfect spot. Now, can they protect him? That's another story.
Yeah.
But in that division, I think we're going to see Dallas take a slide back. I think Philly is going to be good, as we all expect. But I think you could see Washington potentially make a run in that division.
Caveman Rick, what about for you?
I think I'm going to perplex people by saying this, but I'm going to say Michael Penix going to Atlanta, because if he doesn't have to start right away and he can wait like a year or a couple seasons, and they got a wealthy young talent over there, and he's in a city that he'll probably fit in pretty well in and be accepted in and loved and stuff, and if all that stuff goes right and he doesn't have to get thrown to the fire immediately, he could end up being in a pretty damn good spot, I think.
My only thing with that is Kyle Pitts' contract is going to be up soon.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Drake London, do you re-up with Drake London here in 2 years when Penix is finally ready to take it over? We don't know. Then you look at Bijan Robinson, another running back. Typically don't get that second year or second contract, right? So things could be a little bit different for Michael Penix when he does take the reins, if it's in a couple years.
There you go, man. I think that I'm sitting at Jaden Daniels here, but I'm really interested to see what the Patriots do to build around Drake May, and then also the Vikings. I mean, J.J. McCarthy found himself into a pretty good situation as well, and Tyler was highlighting some of that as well yesterday. T.J. Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison over there as well. J.J. McCarthy, if he is what some people thought he could be, and he was a winner in college and in high school, who knows, man? Maybe that NFC North could be a little bit more interesting. But that's going to do it for me today. Coach James Hale Show is going to be live at 7 tomorrow. Then you'll have the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey, Jay Henley from 11 to 1. We'll be back tomorrow at 4. We've got AG and Caveman Rick taking over for the rest of the show. Y'all have a great one. Just remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. Every great asset in America has insurance. You know what else needs insurance? NFL teams at quarterback, Michael Penix. It's an insurance policy for a year, and then it's going to pay you year 2 to year 15. Who cares if Kirk Cousins upset that they drafted Michael Penix?
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays, ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday evening. As we head into tonight, a mixture of partly cloudy skies and slight fog and a low of 69 with a calm wind. For tomorrow morning, slight fog and some clouds and a temp near 79. In the afternoon and evening, a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour, sunny and a high around 81. For Friday, some sun and a high of 80. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey there, business owners. Do you feel lost in a sea of numbers, struggling to navigate your day-to-day accounting? At Lighthouse CPAs, they specialize in guiding businesses to make more money and keep more of what you make. From bookkeeping to tax planning, they've got you covered. Plus, with their user-friendly software, managing your finances has never been easier. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
Your safety and proper care of your boat in an emergency is crucial. When it comes to on-water assistance, response time is everything. And since 1996, in the Bay or on the Gulf, it's SeaTow. SeaTow's Coast Guard licensed captains are on the scene in an average of 1 hour or less. SeaTow gets members home or back to boating faster. Become a member today at SeaTow.com or call 850-234-2323.
He listens to Post Malone. He drives a Honda with ground effects and has Pennsylvania tattooed on his right tricep.
You're looking at a bad man.
David Hayes is part of the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back here in the doghouse. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, the Forgotten Coast. I'm AG along with K-Man Rick as we bid adieu to our very own David Hayes, who is off to handle his business, and like he does every Wednesday. Rick, let's just recap real quick on some local. We kind of skipped over the local high school spotlight here, so in high school baseball, you had Arnold take down Bay 4-2. The Marlins improved to 21-4 and will host either West Florida or South Walton in the district final on Thursday, May 2nd. Tomorrow, I should say. You had Holmes defeating Ponce de Leon 10-0. Chipley over Sneeds 9-0. North Bay Haven taking down Walton 12-9. Mosley in a close one 2-1 over Leon. Bozeman 15-0 over Weewahitchka. Port St. Joe 7-6 over Franklin. In girls high school softball, you had Ponce de Leon 1, Holmes 10. The Blue Devils improved to 13-13 and will face Vernon in the district final on Thursday, tomorrow as well. The Pirates fell to 12-8 and will await regional brackets. In girls high school softball, you also had Liberty taking down Bozeman 16-0. Wakulla over South Walton 3-0. North Bay Haven defeats Bay 13-2. Cottondale shuts out Chipley 3-0. Crestview 10-0 over Mosley. West Florida takes down Arnold 5-1. Niceville in a close one over Childs 5-4. Mariana loses to FSU 9-2. And you had Freeport 7-1 losers to Vernon. The Yellow Jackets improved to 17-9 and will face Holmes County in the district final tomorrow on May 2nd. And the Bulldogs fell to 16-8 and will await regional brackets as well. Port St. Joe took down Franklin 3-1. So a lot going on with baseball and softball in the local area. A lot going on in the NHL playoffs as well, Rick. Why don't you recap that real quick?
Okay, let me get over here then. Okay, so like the Hurricanes, they eliminated the Islanders last night. The Avs are moving on, of course, against the Winnipeg Jets. They were leading in that series pretty good. The Leafs are keeping up with the Bruins now. They extended their series with a win in OT with the Bruins. Let's see, that's 3 games from like yesterday. Tonight, I'd have to look to see what's going on tonight. I'm not too sure on my phone.
No, it's all good.
Like Kings and I think the Edmonton Oilers are playing this evening, for instance. Give me a second here.
All right. In NBA news, the Cavs hold off the Magic and take a 3-2 lead. The Bucks take Game 5 versus the Pacers. And Tyrese Maxey led the 76ers past the Knicks in Game 5, which that series is getting really, really close. I mean, it's 3-2 now. New York seems to be on its heels. If Philadelphia is able to take Game 6, Game 7 in New York might be a little tight.
Yeah, it'd be kind of nice. Like I said, it's not our time to get bounced. Usually it's the second round for the Philadelphia 76ers. So I'm kind of interested in what's going on. Last night, I thought that was kind of going to be it, though. I thought, they were going to end up losing that game, seeing, they were down by more than 6 with, just a couple minutes left. But big ups to Maxey. He's really coming through and has really been like a solid, player for the Sixers, man. Really stepping up when they need him. Back to the hockey real quick, too. Yeah, the Kings and the Oilers were playing tonight. That's the second game. Oilers are up in that series 3-1. I foresee the, Oilers winning that one. I picked them earlier on. And then you got the Golden Knights and the Stars. Golden Knights came out real early, won the first 2, but Dallas ended up winning the next 2. So now that series is tied 2-2, and that probably goes 7 games, I'm thinking. That's what I was thinking originally. So
okay.
Check it out, man. Good stuff on tonight.
Stanley Cup playoffs at its finest, right? In the NBA Finals tonight, you have the Heat taking on the Celtics. Celtics with a 3-1 series lead there. Kristaps Porzingis is still a little banged up. I don't think he's playing tonight. Mavericks and Clippers, you do have Luka, who's a little bit banged up with that knee. We'll see how he comes out tonight against the Clippers. That series is tied 2-2. Tomorrow, you have the Bucks and Pacers. They tip off for Game 6 tomorrow night. That series is really, really interesting to me because it's such a dichotomy between the old and the new, right? Like you have the old Bucks and you have the new Pacers, and there's a battle going on there for
styles of play, right? Where it's slow it down, we're going to be meticulous versus it's just
wide open,
right? It's like the Wild West out there. And then, of course, your Sixers will host the Knicks tomorrow night as well, and the Knicks lead that series 3-2. So a lot going on in the sports world, professional, high school level, college level, all kinds of good stuff going on. So
what do you think of Jason Kelsey joining the Monday Night Football guys?
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's that personality. If you've listened to his podcast at all, it was interesting to see Boomer and Phil Simms not get re-upped with CBS.
But dudes have been around for a long time. I think they're just trying to get new stuff in. Like this Kelsey thing, like, trust me, I love him. I'm a Philadelphia Eagle, dude's one of my boys. I hope they're not trying to do like Amazon, just copycat and everything. Was it Whitworth they got picked up right after he left the Rams? Offensive lineman type dude. You bring him in, not the typical kind of person that you would think is going to be on a crew like that. And I just a lot of parody out there, I guess, and I wish people would do their own thing.
I think this reminds me more of ESPN going and getting Pat McAfee, right? That gruff dude that's just comes up with whatever comes off the cuff, it comes out, and I think that's what you're going to get more with Jason Kelsey than you will anything. So I liken it to like a Pat McAfee move.
I hope that's not the case. I don't want him to end up being basically a cartoon character. I mean, he's got a lot of important stuff to say. He's a great player. I mean, offensive lineman, everybody knows typically you got to be smart. Smart guys. Sometimes the smartest guys on the field even smarter than the quarterbacks. With their way they got to process information. So I think it will be out of character. I mean, we did see him kind of cutting up a little bit, like when he was at the Bills game, watching his brother out there, took his shirt off, was pounding beers with the fans and everything like that. He just retired. I don't think you're going to see that kind of stuff out of him all the time. I don't think that's necessarily the kind of person he is.
Yeah.
So I think if that's what people are expecting, I just don't see it. I don't think you're going to get that. I think you're going to get kind of like a level-headed guy. He'll probably be a little quirky, but if you're wanting like the McAfee thing, that's what you'd get if you were to bring his brother Travis into it.
I see that as well. But just like I said, just listening to their podcast, it seems to be. I'm not going to say he's going to be Pat McAfee, but he's going to play a role, I think, similar to that. My Saturday morning kind of lineup kind of got a little shuffle this morning. I don't know if you saw this or not on Twitter or Facebook or wherever, but Darian Mel is not going to be running very much longer.
Wow, and they've been I think one of the longest running ESPN radio shows, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, so Mel Kiper announced this morning on Twitter that he and Dari are I guess their contract wasn't picked up, so they're not going to be doing that show anymore, which is awful for me because in the morning I like listening to Marty and Ryan.
Yeah.
Right? And then right after Marty and Ryan comes on, it's Mel and Dari. Yeah. And so it's a big change in my ESPN Northwest Florida lineup there. So.
Yeah, and they got some cool little bits on there where they do with that Mikey C guy trying to pronounce people's names, and stuff like that. And yeah, they got some cool stuff. Plus, then also the intros they have for some of their guests.
Yeah,
like when Jeremy Fowler comes on, they do that. Instead of I got the power, it's Jeremy Fowler.
Right,
Fowler. It's like that's cool. I like that kind of stuff, man. Pretty creative, pretty off the cuff. I like it.
Yeah, so sad day there. I mean, I don't think Mel Kiper's leaving ESPN. I just think his radio show has seen.
They're probably going to pair him up with somebody else, or Dari Noka, or they got somebody else that they're going to fill that time slot up with. I'm sure. I mean, ESPN. I hate to say it too. I mean, all the changes. A lot of it had to do with pay cuts, though, too. So hopefully it's not something to do with that, and some of those guys might not be being with them, down the road. I mean, Kiper's he's been a fixture there because of the draft. I can't see him doing anything else. But Dari Noka, who knows?
Yeah, and I like Dari. I mean, he's an Oklahoma fan, and he's true to it. And it's funny listening to him speak about his college days and stuff like that because it's such a different world from where Mel comes from, right? So I really, really like that juxtaposition between the two. So, like I said, I'm going to miss that broadcast here on ESPN Northwest Florida on Saturday mornings, but. Give me your grade for your Phillies so far early on in the season.
I got to say, we're at least an A. I mean, we're the first team to win 20 games. We We haven't had probably the success that we would like to, not only with the bats, with everybody across the lineup, but with the pitching. I mean, the pitching has been pretty good, but it can still get better. So I got really no complaints really at this point in time, other than I'd like us to be ahead of the Braves in the standings, instead of being behind. But outside of that, I mean, easily an A, maybe even an A+ right now. I'm pretty happy as a Phillies fan.
Well, I mean, and the thing is you've got Wheeler and I'm drawing a blank.
Ranger Suarez?
No, the other
Nolan?
No, you have Nola. Thank you, Nola. And then Ranger Suarez is second in the National League in ERA right now.
Alec Bohm, one of our weakest links that we've had the last couple of years, being kind of inconsistent, not only play on the field but at the plate. He's tearing it up. I think he's top 8 or 10 in a lot of batting categories already at the start of the season. So that's pretty impressive too for a guy like that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's hitting his stride and he's actually going to turn it on, because if he does, man, to have another bat in the lineup that's that good, whew, that's going to be scary for a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think you all need some work in the outfield as far as your defensive adjustments and as well as your bats. I don't think Rojas is going to be your answer in center.
Yeah.
But I like the Phillies team. I don't like your bullpen right now, but I do like your starting rotation.
We haven't liked our bullpen for years. It's been kind of our Achilles heel. I mean, but last year they kind of did well at the end of the year. But
yeah, but I would give them an A at this point, because what did we see last year, right? They just kicked the can and just would never get over that hump until finally you all started cheering Trey Turner, and then everybody just kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
This year, they seem to be starting off on the right foot. Hopefully, they stay healthy. Hopefully, Harper keeps improving. So, I would give them an A at this point.
I just we're not digging ourselves a hole early on in
Sure.
the season like we have in past years, where the first couple months we've gone down. We've already been 8-9 games behind somebody like the Braves, and then trying to dig ourselves back out. It kind of gets rough, especially in those dog days of summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but my Reds, I would give a C right now, maybe a C+, just because we are still above 500. We were above 500 in April for the first time since 2013, which speaks volumes to considering the fact that we have no Matt McClain because of injury. We have no TJ Friedel because of injury. We have no Noelvi Marte because of steroids.
PEDs,
right? CES has missed time. You've got Stevenson that's missed time. The pitching, the starting pitching has actually been really, really good. The bullpen has been pitching really, really well, except in spots. But
so you're giving them a C. But let me say this: considering everything. I mean, shouldn't it be higher because of what you got going on, lacking players and everything? Wouldn't you think it'd be you give them a little bit better of a grade? Because if you had those 3 key guys back in the lineup, for instance, I mean, you guys should have a better record, correct?
Yeah, I think so. And the thing is Candelario is still hitting below 200. He was our big signing in the offseason. He's just now starting to turn it on now that he's gone out west. He's been raking here of late. But Stevenson hasn't been hitting well. I mean, we're starting guys like Santiago Espinal, Nick Martini, and they're just not performing at all.
Right, but you got a bunch of youth on there. Ellie
100%,
has been playing very good. I'd give you. I mean, you've been drinking Kyle's Kool-Aid, man.
I'm not being negative at all.
A B plus, man.
It's a C plus. It's a C plus.
With everybody, being out and things being what they are. I mean, water's going to find its level probably eventually. But for right now, yeah, you guys are doing pretty damn good, I think.
Yeah, like I said, as long as they're able to get healthy and then stay within striking distance, and be there at the All-Star break, be right there, and then be able to make some moves, get some guys healthy, and then make a run.
Yeah, maybe be buyers instead of sellers.
Yeah, 100%. They need to do some buying. So it's going to be a long season, but it's going to be a fun one. But make sure you stay tuned tomorrow morning.
30 more seconds.
Huh?
Got about 30 or 40 more seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say, make sure you tune in tomorrow morning to the Coach James Hale Show between 7 and 9. And then stay tuned for the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey from 11 to 1. And then back here from 4 to 6 with the Afternoon Underdogs. For Caveman Rick, I am AG. You all have a lovely, lovely Wednesday. You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
attention, please. ESPN Northwest Florida reminds you it's the law. It's the law. When there's a double red flag, stay out of the water, stick your toes in the sand, grab a cold drink, and listen to live sports.
Swung on, miss, strike 3.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Double play!
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday evening. As we head into tonight, a mixture of partly cloudy skies and slight fog and a low of 69 with a calm wind. For tomorrow morning, slight fog and some clouds and a temp near 79. In the afternoon and evening, a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour, sunny and a high around 81. For Friday, some sun and a high of 80. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
It's time for a new kitchen from Kitchen Designs. Kitchen Designs in Panama City Beach and Santa Rosa Beach offers full-service cabinets, countertops, and flooring, plus cash and carry cabinets available the very next day. Kitchen Designs has been family-owned and operated for over 20 years. Visit their showroom at 7934 Front Beach Road and on Lynn Drive in Santa Rosa Beach. Or call Kitchen Designs, 850-775-4150.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
About to put the anchor down. Hotty toddy, who's it gonna be? Cowbells and swamp, the Yankees romp. There's nothing like the SEC. The weekend's full of surprises. From Williams, Bryce, and Death Valley. On the five-mile show, Paul's on the road. If he don't get the best of me,
Where's Paul? Hell, I don't know.
Kneeling's up on Rocky Top. The Razorbacks are hard to stop. War Eagles soaring in the wind.
Let me talk, Tammy. Okay, go.
Tigers rocking in Missoula. Wildcats are grinning too. Talk about the